Part 23. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 221. Tang Santang, if you want to continue your journey to the west, eat the meat quickly. If not, don't even think about leaving today. Sun Wukong shouted coldly. Monkey King, the little monk Western religion has a track of abstaining from meat. Tang Santang said with an embarrassed look. However, as soon as he finished speaking, for the sake of our ordinary disciples, I, the Western sect, have lifted the precept of abstaining from meat. The Western cult received a voice that broke through the air and spread directly to the entire prehistoric land. What's the meaning? Western teachings lift the precept of abstaining from alcohol in the front leg, but lift the precept of abstaining from meat in the back leg. Is the Western religion going to start a new trend? The great masters of the prehistoric times were amazed. Jian and Zunti of the Western religion said that they really had troubles that they couldn't tell. Seeing this rhythm, Sun Wukong wanted to break the trajectory of their Western religion to the end. But however, they have no choice. They can only rely on Sun Wukong. If they don't rely on Sun Wukong, 81 is not a problem in this Western heaven to learn scriptures, but they will be stumped by Sun Wukong. Let me go, Western religious rules are broken at any time. Tianpeng, who was squatting on the side, heard the voice of the Western cult and looked at the scene in front of him. His face was full of shock. He admired Sun Wukong very much in his heart. This rule was actually broken because of Sun Wukong. Can you not be awesome? Can you not admire it? Don't be too awesome at all, don't be too admired at all. Tang Santang, what else do you have to say now? Sun Wukong waited coldly for Tang Santang to say. What can he say? Western religions have lifted the rules. What else can he do? The little monk just eats it? Tang Santang had no choice but to pick up a piece of meat and take a bite first. After eating it in one bite, Tang Santang's eyes moved. Not to mention, this meat is really delicious. No wonder Tang Santang had this idea. There is all the meat in Tianpeng. It's a spiritual beast, and the meat is inherently delicious. Plus, Tang Santang only watched other people eat meat since he was a child. How could he not be delicious? Damn it, the Western monks were led astray by Sun Wukong like this. It's okay for Westerners to lift the rules. But Tang Santang really ate meat, which shocked Tianpeng. Although Tianpeng was not a Westerner, he still knew a little about the teachings of Westerners. What rules and disciplines were so strict? Tang Santang actually broke through. For a moment, Tianpeng admired Sun Wukong in his heart. It was simply too awesome. This fairy wine of yours tastes so bad. After eating the meat, Sun Wukong tasted Tianpeng's immortal wine. But after taking a sip, he threw it away. Although Tianpeng is the marshal, the real good things are from the Yuanqi Tianzun, the Jade Emperor, the Queen Mother, and the Supreme Being. Lejun and the others enjoyed it. They couldn't get the canopy at all. But Sun Wukong, who once stole these fine wines, took out 2 gold and jade-rimmed gourds. Sun Wukong threw one directly to Tang Santang. Tang Santang didn't know. He succumbed to the power of Sun Wukong. Or he thought about it, and actually took the wine gourd directly. Sun Wukong opened the gourd. Suddenly the fragrance of the fairy wine filled the entire canopy cave. All the little demons drooled instantly. And Tianpeng's eyes were dull. It's the best immortal brew. In heaven, Tianpeng only had the opportunity to drink a few sips. And Sun Wukong just took 2 gourds. Great sage, can you give me a gourd to drink? Tianpeng said shamelessly. Sun Wukong glanced at it. You, Tianpeng, want to ask for a drink in front of Sun Wukong? Do you have the face? Roll. Roll out with a sound. Wu Qing was slapped in the face again. After a while, under the greedy eyes of Tianpeng, Sun Wukong was full of wine and meat. It's time to continue traveling westward. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the Great Way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyan. Chapter 222. One more person has been added to the westward journey team. The three of them continued westward. Several days. The three of them came to a place called Huangfeng Mountain. The mountains are filled with the scent of mountain spirits and wild monsters. Especially one of them has a very strong aura. Sun Wukong cleaned up the canopy before. But seriously, Sun Wukong was just warming up. However, the canopy could no longer hold up just after the warm-up. Now I feel the powerful aura of this mountain spirit wild monster. Sun Wukong suddenly became interested. Sun Wukong's body flew into the air. He was immediately ready to call out this wild monster in the mountains, but before Sun Wukong could speak, Tang Monk is with the canopy below. Suddenly a strong wind swept through. Just swept it away. Tianpeng was confused. What's the situation? Tang Sen was swept away? Great sage, what's wrong? Tang Santang was swept away by monsters. Tianpeng shouted quickly. Sun Wukong was ready to shout for battle with great enthusiasm. But the sound of Tianpeng immediately ruined his interest. Sun Wukong jumped down angrily. He directly hit the Poseidon needle and blasted towards Tianpeng. You pighead, you are also a big Luo Jinxian, you can't even look down on someone. Sun Wukong shouted angrily. Although this blow to the sea god needle was not a full blow from Sun Wukong. But Sun Wukong's casual blow was not light. Under the blow, Tianpeng was in a state of embarrassment. Tianpeng had a bitter look on his face. So was Tianpeng. Depressed. You just took off to call for battle. My attention was not following you. I was hit by Sun Wukong. Although Tianpeng was depressed in his heart, he dared to be depressed in his heart. He dared not say anything wrong with Sun Wukong. Great sage, Tang Santang has been captured by monsters. How about we stop going to the western heaven? Anyway, it was Tang Santang who was the one who learned the scriptures, so it's none of our business. Now that Tang Santang is gone, we just have an excuse. Tianpeng said to Shen Tian with a flattering intention. Tianpeng didn't want to go to get the scriptures in the first place. Now that Tang Santang is gone, although he was hit by Sun Wukong, he is still happy in his heart. Without Tang Santang, it is just a matter of getting the scriptures. There is no reason. He will continue to be the demon king in Gaolazhuang. How wonderful it feels. Heaven and the Western Church are watching this side. This canopy, what are you thinking about? I, who is in heaven, have a face full of anger. I just gave you 2 gourds of 9-turn golden elixir and 1 gourd of azure elixir for you to learn from the scriptures. You actually told me that I don't want to learn from the scriptures anymore? Do you want to die? To be honest, if Tianpeng really dares not to learn the scriptures, I will really beat him to death. The Western religions Jain and Zunti are also blinded. If Sun Wukong said not to learn the scriptures, they would not have any idea. Sun Wukong is a disciple of an unknown Taoist, with a free-spirited nature. If he wants to learn the scriptures, he will do so. If he doesn't want to learn the scriptures, he will not do so. But Sun Wukong did not say to go to learn the scriptures. Instead, Tianpeng, a disciple of Tianting, said that he would just quit. You, Tianpeng, are not Tianting. Were you sent down to obtain Buddhist scriptures? Now that Tang Santang has just been captured, you no longer want to obtain Buddhist scriptures. What do you think? Senior brother, how about we let the yellow wind monster release Tang Santang first? If this Tianpeng really doesn't go to seek scriptures, we will be embarrassed, Zunti said with a bit of stiffness on his face. This yellow wind monster is the mount of a bodhisattva from their west. This difficulty was also specially arranged by them. According to their assumptions, Tang Santang should be captured first. Then Sun Wukong and Kino Peng catches up and fights with a group of mountain spirits and wild monsters. But now Kino Peng is going to have trouble. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyan. Chapter 223. What if both Tianpeng and Sun Wukong were gone? No one rescued Tang Santang. When the time comes, they will have to speak out and ask the yellow wind monster to let him go. So Zunti thought, it would be better to let the yellow wind monster release him first. His eyes darkened. Just wait. He was helpless. This time, Xian Yujhen was full of weird tricks. Tianpeng wanted to give up and return to Gaolazhuang to become the Demon King. This was because he felt that the life of the Demon King was the most interesting and unrestrained. But Sun Wukong did not. I don't think so. Sun Wukong was tired of being the Demon King. So, he came out. Sun Wukong came out to have fun. Now that the Demon King in the mountain has captured Tang Santang, isn't this just fun? Enter the monster's cave, then I'm looking for a powerful monster in the mountains to fight. Great sage, what do you think of my proposal? Let's go back and continue being the Demon King. Tianpeng continued to encourage with a flattering tone. Sun Wukong's eyes turned cold. He immediately glared at Tianpeng. Tianpeng suddenly had a bad feeling and his heart tightened. But before he could react, Sun Wukong another strike of the sea-dinging needle was directed towards the canopy. This blow was not light. It was much heavier than before. As soon as the blow hit, the canopy flew to the ground and a mouthful of blood was spit out quickly. The canopy. I'm embarrassed. I'm just trying to persuade you. If you're angry, you shouldn't treat me like this. You pighead, if you dare to talk nonsense again and say that you don't learn from the experience, I will beat you to death first. I finally had a good time, and you actually want to ruin my mood. It's really disgusting. Take another hit from me. Sun Wukong roared several times in succession. Another stick hit the canopy. This blow was as heavy as the previous one. The whole body of the canopy suddenly fell directly into the ground. The canopy slammed again. A mouthful of blood spat out. 2 consecutive blows. All the canopy had was pain. Get up quickly and follow me to search in the mountains to see where Tang Santang was captured by them. Tang Santang is the one who learned the scriptures. If he dies, I will have no reason to have fun. Find him first. I am looking for a fight with this monster in the mountain. Sun Wukong said to Tianpeng with a strong command tone. Tianpeng just wanted to say, I just received 2 blows from you. Can you slow down for me first? I am really tired. Tianpeng only wants to say I dare to think in my mind. Sun Wukong has a fierce look on his face. If he dares to talk nonsense, he will be hit again. Sun Wukong's sea-ding needle doesn't look big, but when it hits, it feels really uncomfortable. Tianpeng braces himself for the injury and quickly gets up. Stood up. Follow me into the mountains. Sun Wukong ignored Tianpeng's injury and gave an order directly. Then Sun Wukong jumped into the air directly into the mountain. What can Tianpeng do? He can only follow closely. Sun Wukong originally wanted to call for a fight directly. However, the monster in the mountain caught him. Tang Santang was the source of his Sun Wukong's amusement. Sun Wukong naturally didn't want anything to happen to him. So for the sake of safety, he rarely acted in a low-key manner. This Yellow Wind Mountain was named after the Yellow Wind monster came to this mountain. In Huangfeng Mountain at the top is the Yellow Wind Cave. There are many mountain spirits and wild monsters in the cave. Your Majesty, we have captured this monk, what should we do? Your Majesty, are you going to kill and eat me now? A group of mountain elves and wild monsters shouted towards the yellow wind monster with a running expression. After the yellow wind monster commanded these mountain elves and wild monsters, they found a group of mountain elves and wild monsters. There will be a monk passing by this mountain. The monk can live forever after eating this. The wild monsters in the mountains have been waiting all day long. Today they finally arrived. Regarding the immortality after eating Tang Santang, as a mount of a bodhisattva in Western teachings, he naturally knows this very well. It's just bullshit. He also knew very well what the purpose of coming here was. If he really ate Tang Santang, he would probably be done with it. Leave it alone for now. Today is not a good time to eat meat. Let's wait for 2 days. Yellow Wind Monster shouted loudly. Yes, King. The little demons responded immediately after hearing the sound. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 224. Sun Wukong took the canopy and searched all the way. Finally found the Yellow Wind Cave where a bunch of mountain spirits and wild monsters were found. Monkey King, we found it, let's go in directly. Tianpeng saw that the Yellow Wind Cave was full of monsters and shouted quickly. Hit you. Sun Wukong glared at the canopy. Don't you know Tang San is hiding in their hands? Now that the fighting started, what if they killed Tang Santang? How can I continue to have fun? When Tianpeng heard this, he was immediately heartbroken. Let's go, follow me and sneak into it. If you dare to expose it at will, I will kill you first. Sun Wukong scolded. Then, a spell was cast, and his body was immediately hidden. Cano Peng's face became cold again. He was really afraid of Sun Wukong. Seeing Sun Wukong cast a spell to hide his body, what could he do? He could only follow the instructions. Just do it. Then both of them disappeared and headed towards the Yellow Wind Cave. The Western cults Jian and Zunti had already heard Sun Wukong's airs. They looked touched. The canopy sent by the heavenly court, there is no need for Tang Santang. Only Sun Wukong is really good to Tang Santang. We still have to rely on Sun Wukong to learn the scriptures. Soon, Sun Wukong and Tianpeng searched for it. Finally they found the man who was tied up in a dark and damp cave. Tang Santang. Tang Santang was just a monk. Although he was in the realm of immortals, he had never experienced such a scene. When he was tied up, Tang Santang was full of fear. Tang Santang, I am here to save you. After searching for Tang Santang, Sun Wukong manifested himself, and the canopy followed closely behind. A magic power was cast. The rope that bound Tang Santang was immediately loosened. Tang Santang's face was overjoyed, and he quickly expressed gratitude to Sun Wukong. Thank you Monkey King for coming to save me. Tianpeng heard that Tang Santang only thanked Sun Wukong and did not thank himself. He wanted to shout in his heart, I am here too. Why are you thanking me? Where did he come from and dared to come to our Huangfeng cave and act so arrogantly? Are you looking for death? When Sun Wukong appeared to save Tang Santang, he was immediately discovered by the little demons from Huangfeng cave. A group of little demons quickly surrounded Sun Wukong and the others. Now that Tang Santang had been rescued, Sun Wukong didn't care at all. Instantly powerful display. How dare you and other little demons come to seek death? Roll! Sun Wukong shouted. The Dingai divine needle appeared and swept wildly. In an instant, all the little demons were swept away. A group of little demons were too spicy. Naturally, Sun Wukong was not interested in them. Zutu, Tang Santang is now in your hands. If you lose it again, I will kill you. Sun Wukong turned towards Tianpeng and roared angrily. He seemed to treat Tang Santang as a thing. After hearing this, Tianpeng didn't dare to resist. Naturally, he nodded quickly and responded, yes, great sage. This mountain demon king, come out and fight me. Sun Wukong immediately showed his power and shouted wildly towards the whole mountain. The yellow wind monster who was resting in the cave trembled when he heard the sound. But before he could figure out what was going on, several little monsters ran away quickly. Come over. King, it's not good, someone rescued that monk. King, please quickly use your power to capture the man who saved the monk. Several little demons shouted quickly. The yellow wind monster was informed before he came. The purpose of his coming is to guide the little demons. Fighting with the people who follow the monks to learn scriptures is just an act. To be honest, he just roared. The yellow wind monster was really a little scary. However, when I thought it was acting, I immediately stopped being afraid. Okay, you can follow me to meet that person. Look who dares to act recklessly in my yellow wind cave. The yellow wind monster swaggered out with the group of monsters. The yellow wind monster thought it was an act. But Sun Wukong was not. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 225. The yellow wind monster led a group of little demons and met Sun Wukong in the blink of an eye. Sun Wukong's ferocity was now on full display. Almost none of the little monsters can withstand Sun Wukong's stick. Under repeated sweeps, the little demon almost died. The yellow wind monster saw Sun Wukong and thought to himself, this monkey is really cruel. One stick after another was very powerful. Although the yellow wind monster was surprised. But when he saw Sun Wukong killing his little demon, he was not angry at all. These little monsters started following him. The yellow wind monster knew that they would die. The Bodhisattva taught in the West makes it very clear. You take the little demon with you and let others beat him to death. Then, you can go back to the West. Seeing all the little demons, Sun Wukong had almost killed them. The yellow wind monster thought about acting as a boxer. He is a demon king after all. He couldn't just watch a bunch of little monsters being killed and remain indifferent. Hey, that monkey, you are seeking death by killing my little demon like this, the yellow wind monster shouted loudly. It's a good thing that the yellow wind monster didn't make a sound. As soon as it made a sound, it immediately attracted Sun Wukong's attention. Sun Wukong has been looking for the demon king in the mountain. Isn't it just right that the yellow wind monster appeared on its own? Are you following Sun Wukong's will? You are the demon king in this cave, right? Come and fight this king. Either you die today or I die. Sun Wukong's fierce light appeared. With violent killing power, he bombarded directly towards the yellow wind monster. Sun Wukong attacked with all his strength. The yellow wind monster looked a little confused. Aren't we acting? Just hit him casually. Why do you to be so heavy-handed? Is it because of the realistic performance? Forget it, since this one wants to perform seriously, then I should also be more serious. The yellow wind monster thought to himself. Then, he used his magic weapon and started to fight back. This yellow wind monster, during the normal journey to the west, is not weak in terms of strength. But, it is a pity that this journey to the west in this life. Because of the existence of Tongtian, Sun Wukong's strength has soared to a terrifying level. In just a few blows, Sun Wukong has already beaten the yellow wind monster to the point where he vomits demon blood. His body is also covered with scars left by Sun Wukong's sea-dinging needle. The yellow wind monster thought depressingly. Die. I can understand if you are more ruthless in order to perform better. However, you seriously injured me, but it is your fault. I am just a supporting role, why do you hit me like this? Western Teaching Middle. Leader, my mount is probably no match for Sun Wukong. How about I go there myself? A bodhisattva came out and said. Jian and Zunti looked at each other. Naturally they knew how difficult Sun Wukong was. Now their bodhisattva is going to leave his own mount. To be honest, they don't think so. Possibly. However, they once said that all Westerners who go out can come back and will not perish outside. If they do not allow this Bodhisattva to go, I am afraid it will make many Westerners lose their hearts. Okay, you go for a walk. Remember, you are only here to save people, don't do anything with Sun Wukong. Ji Yin said to the Bodhisattva with an admonishing tone. Yes, leader. The Bodhisattva nodded and then flew through the air. Can this demon king stop? I am. The yellow wind monster is preparing to declare his home. Want Sun Wukong to stop bombarding. However, his words were not finished yet. Sun Wukong's sea-fixing needle has been blasted repeatedly. Like a rainstorm of pear blossoms. It's both crazy and dense. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 226. The yellow wind monster hasn't finished speaking yet. The Dingai Shenzhen has already hit him. The yellow wind monster is miserable. One blow. The yellow wind monster inflicts more injuries. The fire of the soul is starting to die out. Didn't you agree to act? Why do you have to act so realistically? The yellow wind monster cried. Cried sadly and painfully. You monster can't bear to be beaten, you are really a badass. A yellow wind monster made Sun Wukong feel that it was too unchallenging. In his mind, this demon king should be stronger than Tianpeng. It was a bit fun to fight like this. But after the battle, the result was obvious. Weaker than Tianpeng. To Sun Wukong, the pig head of Tianpeng is nothing but scum. The yellow wind monster in front of him can be imagined. When the yellow wind monster heard this, his crying face showed even more pain and even more pain. It's depression. You beat me up like this. You also said I'm rubbish and that I'm not challenging. Are there any bullies like this? Forget it, you monster is such a badass, it's useless to stay. I will kill you, give birth to a good child in your next life, and strive to become stronger in cultivation before you meet my Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong said, with murderous intent already showing in his expression. You said I'm just a hottie. Now you're going to kill me because I'm too hottie? The yellow wind monster was stunned. Isn't this man from Journey to the West acting? First, he beat me, it's all that I was seriously injured. Now they want to kill me. Is this an act? The yellow wind monster instinctively thought that this was the Western religion trying to trick him. He would be tricked to death. But when he just had this idea, a golden light suddenly appeared. Suddenly, a bodhisattva appeared. It was none other than the owner of the yellow wind monster. Seeing his master coming, the yellow wind monster looked overjoyed. Yellow wind monster, please don't be naughty in the future. After the bodhisattva appeared, he immediately said with a stern look on his face. This is the normal script of acting. This is our routine. Sun Wukong, this is my mount. He came down from the mountain because of his naughty nature, so he will bother you and wait. I don't know if I can take him back. Don't worry, Sun Wukong. I will definitely discipline him well in the future. The Bodhisattva said with a kind-hearted look on his face. Sun Wukong understood. This Bodhisattva wanted to save people from him. Sun Wukong had already killed this yellow wind monster and wanted to save people from him. Sun Wukong can agree. Besides, when Sun Wukong saw this Bodhisattva, he couldn't help but think of the two leaders of the Western sect, Ji Yin and Zunti. For the two leaders of the Western sect, Sun Wukong did not have the slightest good influence. Sun Wukong took a look at this Bodhisattva. I took a look at the Bodhisattva and felt its aura. The aura of this Bodhisattva is much stronger than that of the yellow wind monster. It has reached the peak of Deluo Golden Immortal, and can even be said to be a half-step Hunyuan golden immortal. Just after taking care of the yellow wind monster, Sun Wukong there is something satisfying about being destroyed together. Now this Bodhisattva has come, just in time. Want to take someone away in front of me? Hit me first and then talk. Your mount doesn't make me happy, come and fight me. Sun Wukong showed his fighting spirit. A fierce aura came out of the sky. The Bodhisattva was stunned for a moment. War. I'm here to take people away. You want to fight with me? Sun Wukong, I am a Bodhisattva of the Western religion. My Western religion is based on teaching and transforming people, and I do not engage in unprovoked fights. The Bodhisattva said quickly. Don't you want to fight? No. The Bodhisattva didn't want to fight. However, Sun Wukong didn't give him a chance to refuse. Sun Wukong finished speaking. The violent power has been displayed. The Dingai divine needle has been blasted towards the Bodhisattva. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 227. Western teacher Yin Zunti was confused for a moment. Why did you, Sun Wukong, start fighting as soon as you say it's time to start fighting? When Sun Wukong strikes, it is the most powerful attack. Even though the Bodhisattva didn't want to fight, facing such an attack, he had no choice but to fight back. This Bodhisattva can be said to be quite powerful in the uneven Western religion. But it's a pity that when facing Sun Wukong, he can only be beaten. It was only a moment. This Bodhisattva had been severely beaten and injured. The Bodhisattva sighed in his heart and was extremely depressed. What did I do? I'm just here to save my mount. Why did you start the fight without saying a word? And beat me like this? This Bodhisattva wanted to persuade Sun Wukong to stop. However, Sun Wukong beat him so hard that he had no chance to make a move. Sun Wukong's attack is like a rainstorm of pear blossoms. Senior brother, what should we do now? If I sit down on this Bodhisattva, if I continue to fight, I am afraid that I will fall into the hands of Sun Wukong, Zunti said worriedly. That's all, let me speak out and stop him. Jiyin said helplessly. Who would have thought that Sun Wukong has become so tough? He even went to the extent of killing him and sitting down as a Bodhisattva. Sun Wukong, stop it. This Bodhisattva is our mount and cannot be killed. The sacred sound of the great Dao of joining and leading broke through the sky hundreds of millions of miles away. When the Bodhisattva who was beaten by Sun Wukong heard the voice of joining and leading, his face was overjoyed. When he thought about it, Sun Wukong would definitely have some scruples when his leader spoke. Won't take action anymore. But who is Sun Wukong? Just kidding. He is a disciple of Tongtian. He is not like Tongtian in other aspects. Only this aspect is special. No matter who you are, no one can stop the person I want to deal with. Roll. Sun Wukong scolded and turned back directly. Jiyin's face froze. What the hell? I am a saint of the Great Road, the leader of a sect, and you are so rude and told me to get out. Are you looking down on me? Sun Wukong, can you save my face and let this Bodhisattva go? Jiyin said helplessly. You. Face. Do you have face with me? Disappear as far as you can. Sun Wukong scolded loudly. After scolding, Sun Wukong struck harder and harder. His strikes became more agile. The Bodhisattva was stunned. Our leader all spoke out. Forget it if you don't stop. He actually struck more ferociously. Other avenues the saints and Sun Wukong were both fine. Only the two Western sects annoyed him when he saw them. Jiyin's face stiffened again. This was not an ordinary slap in the face. Jiyin was angry and depressed. He was angry that Sun Wukong didn't give him anything. Face. What is depressing is that behind Sun Wukong is an unknown Taoist. He cannot be offended. Ji Yin thought of the previous incident where I exchanged pills for the canopy. Then he said to Sun Wukong, I exchange for a magic weapon, can you let me go? I sit down with this bodhisattva. I look down upon your magic weapon. If other people come in exchange, Sun Wukong may still consider it. But he doesn't have to consider the two sages of the Western religion at all. There is no other reason. These two people are so annoying to him that he doesn't want to have anything to do with them. The mentality of Ji Yin and Zunti almost exploded. Others used elixirs, but I used magic weapons. Logically speaking, magic weapons are better than elixirs. But, you actually refused directly. After Sun Wukong finished speaking, his attack became even more sharp. Ji Yin and Zunti looked at the bodhisattva who was about to die. Senior brother, what should we do? The bodhisattva under us is about to die, Zunti asked quickly. That's all, it's just a bodhisattva. As long as the journey to the west can be completed, we in the west will be able to prosper and everyone will be prosperous. Ji Yin thought for a while and then his heart was filled with confusion. There was no way. Sun Wukong didn't buy his face. He couldn't force it. He could only let Sun Wukong kill him. Ji Yin thought in his heart, and now he is holding it in as hard as he can. They have been holding back until the end of the journey to the west. As long as they can prosper in the west, they can bear all the losses. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 228. Leader, please save me quickly. The bodhisattva under Sun Wukong's seeding needle saw that their leader had stopped making a sound. His face became even more flustered. He kept shouting for help. But the Western sects Ji Yin and Zunti were already ready to sacrifice him. Naturally, they didn't. Huizhe made a sound. He called several times to no avail. The bodhisattva looked disappointed. If I were to be reborn today, I would definitely not join the Western religion. Such a leader would not be worthy of being in charge of the sect. The bodhisattva already knew that he must be dead this time. He had no intention of letting the two sect leaders come to save him. The existence of the sect leaders abandoned him helplessly. You can imagine the pain in his heart. You know. After hearing the words of the bodhisattva, Ji Yin and Zunti looked extremely ugly. The bodhisattva under them said this, what does it mean? It means that they are incompetent. The dignified saints of the Dao did not dare to take action. Dealing with the Deluo Jinxian. However, even though Ji Yin and Zunti looked ugly in their hearts, they could only hold it in. You can die waiting. Sun Wukong shouted sharply. His killing move was revealed. In an instant, the violent power killed the bodhisattva and his mount, the yellow wind monster, on the spot. Originally, according to the plan of Ji Yin and Zunti, the bodhisattva and the yellow wind monster were killed. It should be the last time to return to Western Lingshan. After all, there are very few people in Western Lingshan. Now two people died at once. Not only did Ji Yin and Zunti look ugly, they also felt a little distressed in their hearts. People who teach in the West are really bad guys. Too rough. Sun Wukong killed the two of them. After receiving the Dingai Shen needle, he raised his eyes and glanced into the distance and said deliberately. Ji Yin and Zunti had been holding back. However, these words instantly made the two of them completely upset. Kill them. Our people. Are you saying that our people are not impressed by you? Such bullying is too much. The two people showed their great power. Obviously they wanted to ask Sun Wukong to hold them accountable. But when the two people's great power showed, the power of the unknown Taoist manifested by Tongtian was instantly displayed. Although Tongtian did not transmit the sound, the meaning of the manifestation of the power of the Taoist was very clear. It meant, Ji Yin Zunti, what, you want to seek death? If you want to seek death, I, the nameless Taoist, can satisfy you. Feeling the identity of the nameless Taoist manifested in Tong Tien, Jian and Zunti's expressions froze. Not daring to hesitate at all, they quickly restrained their power. Sun Wukong can, it is easy to deal with them. But the people behind Sun Wukong can also deal with them easily. Killing them is completely easy. Sun Wukong killed the Bodhisattva and the Yellow Wind Monster. Tianpeng took Tang Santang and killed them all the way out. Although Tianpeng is not weak in strength, there are too many little demons. He was beheaded all the way to escape, looking very embarrassed. You pighead is really a hot chick, a bunch of little demons made you look like this. Sun Wukong glanced at Tianpeng with disdain. Tianpeng felt aggrieved when he heard it. The strength of a group of little demons is very poor. But there are so many of them. How can I defeat it alone? Moreover, I also bring a Tang Santang. To be honest, if Tianpeng hadn't brought Tang Santang with him, he would have been more powerful than this. But with Tang Santang as a dragster, his strength was reduced by at least 90%. Tianpeng could only feel depressed and aggrieved. I don't dare to refute the slightest statement. There is no other reason. Sun Wukong is too strong. He cannot deal with it at all. Now that the monsters have been dealt with, it's time for us to move on. Hope the next one will be stronger. The monsters in this cave are really rubbish and not challenging at all. Sun Wukong said with disdain. Soon, Sun Wukong took Tang Santang's canopy and continued his journey to the west. In just a few days, Sun Wukong and his party had already arrived in front of the Tangsha River. Above the heavenly court, Jade Emperor Tang Santang and his party have arrived at Tangsha River. Yuanji, Tianzun said. Well. The Jade Emperor Haoshan nodded happily. Who is in the Tangsha River, but his rolling curtain general? Only if his rolling curtain general joins the team traveling to the west will he have a chance to win the luck of the west. There are not many variables in this journey to the west. Speaking of which, Tang Santang and his party did not arrive in front of Tangsha River for a day. The Jade Emperor Haoshan's heart was hanging for a day. Now it is finally here. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 229. Monkey King, let's just use our magical power to cross the river. There seems to be a powerful aura in this river. We don't want to stay here any longer. Tianpeng looked at Tangsha River and said tremblingly. With the existence of Tianpeng and Sun Wukong, it was natural to find that there was an existence in Tangsha River that was not weak to them. And Tianpeng was most afraid of trouble, so he immediately wanted to escape and escape. However, Sun Wukong and Tianpeng are exactly the opposite. He is not afraid of trouble. He is afraid of not having trouble. There is a powerful aura here, how can he miss it? Fighting all the way, he has never been happy. Finally met a Deluo Jinxian, how could he miss it? Are you in charge of journey to the west? Sun Wukong glared at Tianpeng fiercely. His expression was full of ferocity. Tianpeng's eyes shrank. The great sage decides, the great sage decides. Tianpeng saw that Sun Wukong was getting more and more wrong, so he said quickly, and then he didn't dare to say anything easily. To be honest, if Tianpeng dared to say a word, he would definitely get a beating today. Fortunately, Tianpeng knew what was right. River monster, come out quickly. Come out and fight this king. Sun Wukong yelled and scolded towards Tangsha River. Wanlian was once a demon king. Later, he was surrendered by heaven. Now Tianting released him to the lower realm. Wanlian was not comfortable in Tangsha River. However, he also I have never forgotten what the heavenly court told me. I am waiting for those who travel to the west to learn the scriptures and go together. The roller blind is being carried by Tangsha River at the moment. I heard someone shouting for war. Suddenly I became angry. How dare someone ask him to roll up the blind? He is seeking death. Who dares to call me Zhan Wu? Zulian came out across the sky with a giant staff in his hand. The moment he came out, Shuyan saw Tang Santang, who looked like a monk, the fierce Sun Wukong, and the lazy Tianpeng. He naturally knew Tianpeng and Sun Wukong. And the two of them were Buddhist pilgrims, so he naturally knew it. Coupled with the monk-like appearance of Tang Santang, Roller Blind immediately concluded that the team he had been waiting for so long had finally arrived. Roller Blind immediately put away his giant staff. The Roller Blind has seen the great sage and the canopy. The rolling curtain general quickly saluted Sun Wukong and Tianpeng. Sun Wukong once served as the Monkey King in heaven. Tianpeng was also the Marshal of the Navy. Naturally, he knew a lot about the immortal positions in heaven. At first, neither of them recognized him. Come out. But after the roller curtain introduced himself and said goodbye, the two immediately recognized each other. As soon as he heard that it was the roller curtain of the heavenly court immortal, Sun Wukong suddenly lost the slightest intention to fight. It wasn't that Sun Wukong didn't want to fight. It was the heavenly court immortal or something. Sun Wukong knows the quality very well. In the battle at Huaguo Mountain, all the immortals in the heaven were defeated. There was also the canopy next to it. In a fight, it was not as powerful as a mountain spirit wild monster. Since it's you, then get out. This king despises you. Sun Wukong scolded the rolling curtain with disdain. There was such contempt in Sun Wukong's expression. He couldn't see it through the rolling curtain. But he was very clear about Sun Wukong's fighting power. During the battle at Huaguoshan, the more he looked at the battle, the more he looked at it. 1. Being despised and despised, Roller Blind just smiled awkwardly. However, he did not retreat. The Jade Emperor told him to join the westward journey team. How could he retreat? The great sage and the Jade Emperor told the young general to wait here for those who want to learn the scriptures, and let the young general join the escort to learn the scriptures together. Said the Roller Blind. Are you also a Buddhist? I said to you, wouldn't it be nice to be a demon king? Tianpeng immediately said with contempt. Tianpeng really wanted to be the demon king, but I didn't allow it. Now Wanlian voluntarily gives up the demon general and joins the journey to the west. Tianpeng really can't understand. The young general dare not disobey the Jade Emperor's order. Julian said. Wanlian was once a demon king and later entered the heaven. Between the two, he even wanted to be an immortal. However, the Jade Emperor ordered that he had to accept the. Do you also want to join in learning? What, is this Buddhist scripture-seeking team led by this king going to put everyone in it? Sun Wukong's tone showed a bit of coldness. When the heavenly court and the western sect heard this, their expressions froze. Your Sun Wukong scripture-seeking team. This is a plan of ours, okay. Go away, we already have enough people to collect scriptures, we don't need any more. Sun Wukong scolded mercilessly. The roller curtain face was stunned. Above the heaven, the Jade Emperor's face was also stunned. You said that the scripture-seeking team is yours, so you didn't say anything. Now, let's add someone, and you still, no. Is there any truth to this? Jade Emperor, this Sun Wukong is really abominable. In this way, we do not take our heaven into consideration. Yuan Shitianzun looked very stern. The Jade Emperor also had a headache. Before, he was still laughing at me. Tianpeng had to send various elixirs to join. But now it is his turn. Yuan Shitianzun, there is no need to say this, we should still find a way to solve this matter. Jade Emperor Haoshan glanced coldly and said. Jade Emperor Haoshan meant to say, if you want to talk, You need Yuan Shi Tianzun? You don't know that behind Sun Wukong is a saint of heaven, what can you do? Sage Lao Tzu gave Sun Wukong 3 gourds of elixir before. It seems that we can only follow suit. The Jade Emperor Haoshan said. Jade Emperor, how about we give some fairy fruits to Sun Wukong? I think Sun Wukong likes to eat fairy fruits. A fairy came out and said. As soon as he mentioned the fairy fruit, the Jade Emperor and Queen Mother's faces turned stiff. Sun Wukong made a big fuss in the fairy fruit garden, which would be their eternal pain. This method won't work. Sun Wukong has taken away so many peaches and fairy fruits, and there should be many more now. If you give them fairy fruits, he will definitely not buy it. Jade Emperor Haoshan shook his head. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 230. Jade Emperor, what should we do? The Queen Mother on the side asked repeatedly. The Jade Emperor Haoshan looked thoughtful. In the past, there was no need to think about fairy fruits and the like. In the past, the heavenly court also gave many magical treasures. Now even if they are innate spiritual treasures, I am afraid that Sun Wukong will not look down on them. Maybe the innate treasure can give it a try. But the innate treasure is something that even the Jade Emperor can't get out. Let alone give it to Sun Wukong. Jade Emperor, why don't we promise Sun Wukong an immortal position? An immortal priest jumped out and said. After this immortal priest finished speaking, a group of immortal priests rolled their eyes. Give Sun Wukong the immortal position again? Are you afraid that you have forgotten what Sun Wukong did when he was the Monkey King? Could it be that he has done it again? Do you want him to annoy the heavenly court? Besides, Sun Wukong has already become the Monkey King. Monkey King, if you tell me, this is comparable to the Jade Emperor. What else can the heavenly court come up with now? The immortal position of the Monkey King. This method goes without saying. Sun Wukong absolutely cannot go to heaven again. Queen Mother Yaokai shook her head and said. Yaokai really has a shadow on Sun Wukong. Last time at the Peach Conference, her Queen Mother was humiliated. Let Sun Wukong go to heaven, let alone all the immortals. Her Queen Mother is the third. If you don't agree, you'll be beaten to death if you don't agree. It is better to teach people to fish than to teach them how to fish. After thinking for a long time, the Jade Emperor finally came up with a way. If it were fairy fruits and flat peaches, Sun Wukong would definitely not like them. However, the fairy fruits and flat peaches will eventually be eaten up one day, so we will give him some fairy fruits and flat peach spiritual roots. The Jade Emperor said with a movement of his eyes. What? Send spiritual roots? All the immortals in the audience are dumbfounded. For these immortals, a fairy fruit and a flat peach are rare. As for the spiritual roots of the fairy fruit and the flat peach, it is naturally not to mention. A fairy fruit spiritual roots are definitely better than countless pills. Needless to say, a flat peach spiritual root. Jade Emperor, this is not good. The Queen Mother on the side looked a little unwilling. The Queen Mother is in charge of these fairy fruits and flat peach spiritual roots. There are not many fairy fruits and flat peach spiritual roots in the fairy orchard. There is no reason to give them away. Nothing wrong with that. That's it? The Jade Emperor said with a firm tone. Although fairy fruits and flat peach spiritual roots are precious, for Jade Emperor Haoshan, great luck is the most rare. A few fairy fruit spiritual roots and flat peach spiritual roots can be exchanged for great luck. This it's a worthwhile deal. Which immortal is willing to go and negotiate with Sun Wukong about this matter? The Jade Emperor Haoshan glanced at all the immortals and said. How scary Sun Wukong is. You can already see it by causing a big battle between heaven and Huiguo Mountain. Among the many immortals, none of them are not afraid of Sun Wukong. To be honest, they trembled inwardly when they saw Sun Wukong, let alone negotiating with Sun Wukong. The eyes of all the immortals were retreating. They were stunned and did not dare to look directly into the eyes of Jade Emperor Haoshan. Is my heaven already like this? You have so many immortal positions, but none of them serve me. Jade Emperor Haoshan's face was filled with anger, and he said to all the immortals. To be honest, Jade Emperor Haoshan really wants to curse at this moment. You group of immortals, I will let you just go and talk to Sun Wukong. Negotiate. I didn't let you start a war with Sun Wukong. Are you afraid of this? Jade Emperor, it was Taibei Jinxing who recruited Sun Wukong. I think Taibei Jinxing and Sun Wukong get along very well. Why not, let Taibei Jinxing go this time too. A fairy jumped out with his eyes moved, pointed at Taibei Jinxing and said. Yes, Jade Emperor, I suggest you let Taibei Jinxing go. I agree too. Taibei Venus is suitable for this job. Someone took the lead in pointing out Taibeijan Star, and immediately a group of immortals attacked it, pointing at Taibeijan Star. Obviously, this group of immortals acted like this because they wanted to save their dead Taoist friends from dying. Taibei Jinxing, his whole face suddenly became disfigured. Yes, he had been in contact with Sun Wukong once. But at that time, I didn't know how scary Sun Wukong was. I was also watching the last battle. Only you know Sun Wukong is scary, don't I know? Taibei Jinxing felt 10,000 depressed in his heart. He quickly wanted to speak out and refuse this job. Sun Wukong is too scary. Who knows, Sun Wukong still recognizes him as an old acquaintance. What if he goes down there? Stake was beaten to death, and there was no place for him to express his grievances. But before he could say anything, the Jade Emperor's cold light glanced over and said in an unusually strong tone. Taibei Jinxing has all the immortals recognizing you, so I'll leave this matter to you. Taibei Jinxing, I think you won't be unwilling to serve me, right? After saying something forcefully, Jade Emperor Haoshan added in a weird tone.